Okay, so this is a video that I've wanted to do for a while, and if you happen to be somebody who is nervous about being on camera because you think, well, I've got wrinkles or blotchy skin or something like that, or maybe I just don't feel like I look as pretty as I would like to, then this is going to be really helpful for you because as I've gotten older, I've started to notice that, hey, my skin isn't as perfect as it used to be, and sometimes I look at myself and I think, man, I really wish I was just a little prettier. And today we're going to show you how to do that really simply in DaVinci Resolve, kind of clean up the complexion and everything, and it's going to look really natural. So the first thing I'm going to do just to make this easier is I'm just going to cut out a section of this so that we're not having to do the entire video. But what I've got here, I've got a video from the Business Growth Accelerator. And as I was coming through and doing those videos, one of the things that I started to notice was, man, my skin could use a little touch up. And so if we come to the color page here, what you're going to see, if I zoom in here and just take a look at my skin, you'll see, maybe it doesn't look that bad, but I got this big line here, and you can just see you can see that I've been in the sun this summer, and so I've got some freckles and some spotches on my skin, and I want to see if I can clean that up. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to come over here to the effects window. If you don't see it, just click effects and then just type face. And you're going to see something come up called face refinement. And I want you to drag that right onto your node. It could be any node, it doesn't matter. And then click analyze. And what you're going to see is the artificial intelligence inside of DaVinci Resolve is going through and tracking my facial movements, noting where my eyes are and where my mouth is. And it's going to run all the way through this and then back until it gets a really nice model of where my face is on the screen. So I'm going to pause it and then we'll come back when it's done. Well, there you have it. That took about, I don't know, a minute. And if you're doing this, naturally I took a small clip to make this faster. If you're doing like 20 minutes of talking head, it may take a little bit longer to analyze. But what you'll see now is I got this really nice shot of my face. And so what I want to do is I want to try and find the hero shot. Let's not use that one. But that looks good right there. And I can come over here now that I've got this and I can see that it's got a nice track on my face. And I can just go ahead and shut this off so I can actually look at my mug here. And then we're going to come over here, and this is where the magic really starts to happen. What I usually like to do is start out with a little forehead tweaking, and you'll see underneath forehead, you've got hue, saturation, and smoothing. We're just going to mess with the smoothing. Now, as I dial this up, I want you to watch what happens to my forehead here. See how that line just starts to fade away? And I can bring it back in, and I can go real aggressive with it and totally smooth it out. That looks a little weird. If I toggle on and off, you'll see the difference that it makes there. Probably a little too much, but let's go ahead and dial it back just a little bit. And again, we're not trying to make ourselves look fake. It's not like putting a filter on. We just want to try and smooth out some of that if we can. And then we also have a place for blush retouchment. So if you wanted to add a little bit of saturation to the cheeks, you can see kind of how my cheeks get a little rosier there. If we go real aggressive, so you can see what it looks like if we go too far and then you pull it back. That's the way you should typically do your color, is go too far and then come back to where you think it's nice. We can do that. We can do lip retouching. So let's say that we want to put a little bit of saturation into your lips. So you want a little rosier lip color. How about upper lip smoothing? We smooth that out a little bit. I don't have much of an upper lip, as you can see, but you can play around with that as well. And then we have eye retouching, and this is a really cool one. So let's say you tend to have dark bags under your eyes. Like I kind of got some bags under there today. Let's go ahead and let's go into eye bag removal. And again, we're just going to sort of dial that up and watch how those eye bags just kind of go away. See how that works? That's original. And then we're just going to start to pull those back. So again, if I go on and off, let me back out again so you can see. See, this is before, this is after. Just so subtle, but it's removing those eye bags and kind of those sockets, those pockets under there, and smoothing those out. It's smoothing out the forehead. And now we got a nice little start. And then the last thing I like to do, you can come in here with grading and contrast and all of that stuff. You can brighten the eyes. That's another thing we can do in here. So let's say that we want to really brighten up our eyes here. If we go to brighten, just watch the whites of those eyes. See how they brighten up like that? So if you want to just kind of draw people into the eyes, you can do that. we can eye lighten, so we can kind of see how that takes. That's the original. And as I lighten it up, it's just going to throw a little bit of brightness around my eyes. Again, on and off. Okay. And then you can also sharpen if you want to. So if we want to make those eyes really sharp, we can. Now, I don't normally mess with a lot of that because I think it's a little weird, but you do need to pay attention to your before and afters too, because you can start to overdo it, right? So we probably, with our eye light, we're probably a little bright on that. We're probably a little bright on the brightening, right? We don't want a ton, but see how much nicer that looks? Original me, improved me. All right. Now, the last thing that I typically do with this is I'll just come back up here to operation mode, and I want to go into beauty advanced. And don't let advanced scare you, because we're only going to do a couple of things here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to diffused light. And this is where you're going to see a lot of the magic happen, because again, we've taken care of the forehead and around the eyes, but we still got some of this around the cheeks and skin that we want to take care of. And if I just throw on diffused light, you're going to see that it kind of cleans that up a little bit. And again, on, off. Okay. Now that may be, we have to play with this a little bit, right? Because that may be, we may like that for the cheeks, but then we got to come back to the chin and the forehead, and we're like, we did too much into the forehead. It just looks a little bit too weird. Maybe come back here to the eye retouching and move a little bit of the under bag just to kind of give it a more natural look. Okay. That's looking pretty good. And then the last thing I'll typically do, you have a recovery amount in here if you want to pull back some and recover some of these some of the original. But what I typically do is come down here to global blend, and I'll just pull back my global blend a little bit. So if I go to 0, I'm back to where I was before. And if I come in here to maybe 70% or so, maybe 80%, now all of a sudden I have this nice, like, just sort of cleaned up image. And as you can see, right now, it's just going to track all the way through my shot, and it's going to keep that same look all the way across. And again, if I want to shut it off, you can see the difference that the before and after makes. And so this is just a really easy way for you to come in and kind of freshen up your face. And it's probably just for your benefit. Nobody else probably cares. But I just think it's kind of a little bit more appealing. It's a simple way to do it. So if that's been an excuse of yours as to why you're not creating video content and why you're not getting on camera is because you just think you got a face for radio, this is something that can help give your complexion and give your look just a little bit of an uplift. So go and give it a try for yourself, and then let me know in the description how it worked for you.